Today I'm going to share with you how I use YouTube to get on ESPN NBA commercials. I'm Jesse with Inspire Video Marketing, where I show you how to build a YouTube-based business. If that's something you are looking to do, be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications. So this started a while back, before like YouTube was really what it is now. Like having a business on YouTube, some people were doing it, but it was far less common. And at the time, I knew a little bit about search engine optimization with like Google and websites and things like that. So I was using that to my advantage. I was also on YouTube, but I was using YouTube more for just put like highlight mixes out. So to give you some context of what I do with my other channel, Get Handles Basketball, which right now is at about 500,000 subscribers, probably will be by the time this video comes out. When I started that channel, it wasn't Get Handles Basketball it is now. It was a completely different channel. Now I teach people how to get better at ball handling. When I started that channel, I just did like basketball tricks and put like mixtapes up with me showing like highlights, you know, of doing different crazy tricks, maybe all by myself, or flashy moves on defenders and things like that. And that was kind of the focus of the channel. And really, I was just putting videos out at that time to kind of get respect and to try to kind of get noticed by different like traveling basketball organizations like the Harlem Globetrotters. There was something called the And One Mixtape Tour. And there was just like opportunities at the time to get gigs, quote unquote, you know, doing like school assemblies, and I would do tricks at schools, and I did motivational speaking and things like that at schools, and I got a lot of business from it from that side of things. Partially from YouTube, but more from just making connections with, at the time, MySpace, a little bit through Facebook and things like that. And that's kind of where I got some of my business, and then also a little bit through my website through search engine optimization. The really big takeaway before I tell you how I did this is I want you to understand it's not always about getting lots of views like on YouTube if you want to try to like make money from YouTube or build a business from YouTube. Like a lot of people just think you have to build this massive audience and then try to get a brand deal, or build a massive audience and then try to get a lot of money through AdSense. You're gonna take at least, I would say, 3 times longer if you only look at it from that side of the coin. You should be trying to build your own business, number one. And number two, think about who you are targeting with your videos. And that was one of the big keys with how I got onto this ESPN commercial. To take you through the story, basically, at one point, I said to myself, how do I get more business for myself? Because I was trying to get business through these different like companies that would book me for the shows. They were a talent agency is what they were called, and they would book me and they would take a percentage of the performance fee that I would get. So I would, you know, let's say I did a show for $1,000, did a halftime show for a college, I would get $1,000 and they would take like 10, 15%, whatever it was. I don't remember anymore. But the point is they would take a percentage. And I said, well, how can I start getting more shows? Because I wasn't getting as many shows as I wanted through them. And I wasn't getting the full cut. You know, I wasn't getting the 100%. If I book it myself, I get 100%. So it made sense from both regards to try to get more business for myself. So what I did is I set up a page for myself targeted towards the term basketball entertainer. And so I was using that page to try to get business for halftime shows, commercials, possibly birthday parties, maybe get onto the Harlem Globetrotters, right? Things like that, just to get noticed, but mainly book shows for myself, motivational speaking, you know, school assemblies, all that kind of stuff. And I optimized that page for it. I was getting a few like gigs here and there from it, and things were getting good. I did some things for like Finish Line, Nike, Red Bull, but a lot of that even then was like coming from some of these talent agencies. Some of it was coming from my own website. And then I said to myself, you know, I figured this out at a certain point, like, well, when you go to Google started prioritizing certain videos, right? They would take at least one YouTube video because they owned YouTube at the time, and they started putting a video in the search results. And if you think about it, number one, you got a couple things going. Number one, that YouTube video, a lot of times they would put near the top of the search results, which is like prime location. Like a lot of people pay a lot of money to have someone do search engine optimization to basically get their website showing in the first spot when you type in something, right? So if you type in, you know, baseball gloves, you ideally want to be the first website if you sell baseball gloves. With videos being near the top, you gain that, you get closer to the top, sometimes at the top spot. But number two, well, actually there's 3 things. Number 2, you're getting that prime visual real estate. And what I mean by that is you, not only are you showing up near the top, but you pop in the feed more, right? Because it's a color image. It's not a bunch of text like everything else, and it's bigger, right? So by those 2 factors alone, like you automatically stand out. You're going to catch the eye. People are attracted to images automatically, right? That's why you got to put good thumbnails on YouTube. So that helps a lot. And then the third thing you have is there's not as much competition, right? So if you can make a YouTube video for a certain search term, then there's not as many people trying to make YouTube videos for that search term in Google, right? So you can look at this more from the perspective of who is an ideal client, and I got a big tip for you on that that'll help you a lot with making more income. But if you look at who's your ideal client, and then you target a search term that would be Google friendly, not necessarily looking at YouTube search results, because like the term I went for was basketball entertainer for my website for Google, and then I also made a complementing video that was trying to target basketball entertainer, which a lot of people, number one, there was pretty much no videos for that on YouTube, and there was a lot of people trying to get websites ranked for that, but I was the only video result for that because there was low competition. People weren't thinking that way. A lot of people still are not thinking that way. So I made my video about basketball entertainer, and I put it on my webpage that was also for basketball entertainer, and now I got both ranked. So I got a video in search results because no one else is trying to rank for it. It's a picture, so it stands out that people can click to watch a video, and people love video, they're attracted to video, and it's showing up near the top. And I got my website near the top because they're both optimized for basketball entertainer, and I got that video on that page. Boom, good stuff, right? Now here's what happened next, and then I'll give you the big takeaway with your targeting. So what happened next was all of a sudden, one year I got an email, and I didn't know who it was from. And they asked, like, would you be available to do a video shoot and such dates? And I said, yeah, I am. And I think I said, yeah, I am. I don't even remember, honestly. But basically, it didn't end up happening. I don't think they ever got back to me. I think something happened, and it didn't work out. Another year rolls by, and around the same time, I get an email from the same person. And it turns out, this time, they were trying to book me for a video shoot again. And they said at the bottom, below their name, ESPN. And I'm just like, I think it was from like a Gmail account, and I'm like, I don't know if I actually believe this, right? This email that was sent to me was from that webpage that I mentioned that had the video on it. And there's a contact form on it to book me for shows. And so they had sent me this email through that form, and at the end it said ESPN, and I'm just like, is it? And so we went back and forth with a few emails, worked everything out as far as the deal and the negotiation and all that stuff, and it turned out it was for an ESPN NBA playoffs commercial. And I'll tell you some more about like what that was like and what that was all about. But so we got it all figured out, and it was in the middle of winter. They filmed it during NBA All-Star Weekend, since a lot of the NBA players that are gonna be in the playoffs are also at NBA All-Star Weekend, so they have them in one nice convenient spot where they can film everything. And so they hired me for it, and they booked my flight. And my flight gets bumped, or I got bumped from the flight because there was like a big ice storm in Orlando, which is a huge hub for flights, and there's hardly ever any ice down there, so it caused a lot of issues, and I ended up getting bumped from the flight, and I was literally supposed to land and go film like right away, and now I got bumped from my flight. I'm like, oh great, there goes this huge opportunity, right? But they ended up working things around with the schedule and whatever, and so I ended up filming with, I was in the commercial with like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, a whole bunch of NBA stars were in it. On set, I actually got to meet LeBron James, Paul George, Dwayne Wade, and LaMarcus Aldridge. Really cool experience to meet them in person and do some tricks and throw the basketball back and forth with them and whatever. But I want to get back to the point that you came to these videos for how I can get, business. You can get business. At one point, the lady that had booked me for this show, I asked her, like, well, how did you find me? Because I really wanted to know, like, what was it from my efforts that got the client? She said, well, actually, I can't remember, but I think it was either your website or your YouTube video. And I got a feeling what it was it was the YouTube video. She might have found it on YouTube for all I know, or she might have found it through Google. I'm not sure. But on that, it sent people to the website. So I think what happened was she found the video. In that video, I told her to go to the in the video, I told people to go to the website if they wanted to book me. It had a link there. And then from there, on that page was also the video again, a bunch more text describing what I do, clients I've worked with, things like that. And there was a contact me form at the bottom, and that's how they found me. Now, one other thing before I give you like how, the targeting tip and how to go about this. If you get something like that with a big client, you want to be smart about it and leverage it, right? Which, if you notice what I do, like in the beginning of all the videos on this channel, when I do anything promotional for my Get Handles basketball channel, and when I'm trying to sell training products, or in the beginning of my YouTube videos, what do? I put logos, worked with these people. I put some video from time to time of me on set with LeBron James, because he's like one of the biggest basketball players of our generation, probably the biggest of our generation, or this generation maybe. We won't have that debate between LeBron and Jordan, but the point is, like, that adds a level of credibility maybe, and prestige, and notoriety and social proof, right? All these psychological elements that shows that like you've done something that commands a certain level of maybe credibility would be a good word. And so leverage that, right? So if you're going to use this tip I'm going to give you, don't just leverage it to get clients that are high paying or clients, you know, that are something that you would really like to work for. But like on top of that, you can leverage this to get some more of that credibility, then to help you get more clients and get more sales and things like that. And for all you that are watching this that are maybe like, I'm just a YouTuber, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna get a commercial. Well, maybe not, but you could maybe land a sponsorship deal by going about this the right way, right? So maybe you could find some keywords to leverage for that. And that's where the tip comes in play, is ask yourself, like, who's that client? Like, what would they be looking for? And a lot of times, like something like basketball entertainer, that's not like there's not a lot of competition for that. There's not a lot of people that do that, right? There's not a lot of people searching for that. So I asked myself, like, what would someone that's looking for this thing search for? And it's a high paying thing, right? So that's one thing you want to look at, is like, is it something that's high paying? Is there going to be potentially big name clients looking for it? And then what would they be looking for, right? What are the search terms that they would be using to try to find someone that does this specific thing that's high paying and that those people are looking for, those high paying companies and corporations or people that are willing to spend the money, right? Ask yourself who that audience is. And a lot of times you will find some hidden gems that are not very competitive that you could make a YouTube video about and possibly a complimentary page, or maybe you could just have them go from the YouTube video to a contact form, or give them your email and have you contact you directly. And from there, you could be getting some of these high paying clients. And if you want to make 10 times more money on YouTube, that's one thing that can really help you, but there's other pieces you'll want to put in place. I'll have a video linked in the top comment. I'll also have it right here for you. It will help you a ton. If this video helped, be sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications. Go inspire someone today, and I'll see you in that video here or in the comments next.